Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanशलाकया Chakshurumlitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnebhyo Namo Namah Ajanulambito bhujo kanakvadato Sankirtane kapitro Kamlayataksho Vishambaro Dujubaro Yugadharmapalo Vande Jagat Priyakaro Karuna Yavataro He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopikant Radhakant Namostute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Radha Chintaniveshinam Yasya Kanti Vilopita Shri Krishna Charanam Vande Radha Lingitam Vikraham Bhaktya Vihinaya Parada Lakshai Shiptascha Kamadi Tarang Madde Kripamayi Tam Sharanam Prapanna Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Nikhil Shruti Mauli Ratmala Duti Niradita Pad Pankajanto Hare Mukta Kula Yupasmanam Paritastam Harinam Sanchayami Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare By the causeless mercy of Guru Gauranga, by hearing Shri Bhajan Raise for some days, there are some very auspicious tithis falling in this period, and we are supposed to follow, even if it is short or long time, in our Hari Katha, to remember our Acharyas, to seek their blessings, and on the top of that, to consider, to remember the contributions and their specialities, because for sadhakas like us, that's the only source of our inspiration. There is no other way out. Just prior to this, I was speaking Hindi class. So the Hindi audience, I was glorifying one of the great Acharya, embodiment of humility and simplicity, Nitilya Om Vishnupad, Shri Srimad Bhakti Vallabha, Tirtha Goswami Maharaj. So I took a couple of his specialities and we elaborated on that. So simultaneously there is also auspicious day of appearance day of Shri Vrndavana Thakur, right? As we are familiar, who Vrndavana Thakur is. Chaitanya Leela Vyas Vrindavan Das. Just like Shri Krishna Dvaipan Ved Vyas, he narrated Krishna Leela, 90 chapters in Srimad Bhagavatam. And not only that, he also narrated the incarnations of Krishna, Narsingh Bhagwan, Vara Bhagwan and all. So Ved Vyas, he gave the essence of all the Vedas. The same Ved Vyasji, in Chaitanya Leela, Ved Vyas Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur. Means the Vyas of Chaitanya Leela is Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur. In regard to his glorification, I'm taking this opportunity to hold the feet of my Shiksha Gurudev, Nitla Vishnupad, Bhakti Vigyan Srila Bharti Goswami Maharaj. In his lecture, how he glorified Sri Vrndavana Thakur. With this theory of aprakrit vastu nahi prakrit gochar, Sri Vrndavana Thakur is aprakrit, transcendental, the parikar of Sri Nityanand Prabhu. And so much nishtha of Sri Nityanand Prabhu, on Sri Nityanand Prabhu. How can we describe? Vandana karite moi kato shakti dhari, तमो बुद्धि दोष मात्र दंभ मात्र करी, तथापि मुकेर भाग्या माने उल्लास, दोष खमी निज अधमे करो निज दास, मो अधमे करो निज दास. I am adham, I am fallen. You can deliver me easily. How much can I speak the glories? I can't even understand your glories, because whatever I conceive or understand is with material conceptions. So we are always advised to to understand the glories of Acharyas through the vision of Acharyas. Because aprakrit vastu nahi prakrit gochar. But aprakrit vastu is aprakrit gochar. Transcendental personalities can only be understood and conceived by transcendental personalities. So, Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharti Goswami Maharaj, he explains who is Shri Vrndavana Thakur. Narayani Sutta Vrndavana Thakur. Traditionally, according to a tradition, people would identify themselves with their father's name. Yes, even the passport and IDs, your name and your father's name. That's something very prominent. Very few, in some cases, details they ask the mother name. But mostly, name and then father name and your date of birth. These are the prominent questions. So traditionally, people would identify themselves with their father's name. However, Shri Vrndavana Thakur addressed himself as Narayani Sutta, son of Narayani. He attached his name with his mother's name. Owing to the fact that his connection with Sri Chaitanya Dev was not through his father, but through his mother, Narayani. This shows the absorption, this shows the surrender mood, this shows the attachment mood, this shows the loving mood of Shri Vrndavana Thakur for his Ishtadev, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just by one kriya, one activity, a person is known by his activities. I'm speaking about acharyas. Their activity itself is preaching. And in their activities, in their dealings, in their interactions, in their words, which are full of gravity, some lessons, some teachings are there. Some lessons are there, teachings are there. Even just addressing, even just writing their name, like Shri Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj, how he used to sign his name, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Swami A.C. Bhaktivedanta, something like this. So A.C. Bhaktivedanta. What identification is giving? A.C. means Abhay Charanarvind, but that is his previous name. And then Bhaktivedanta. Is that simple? No, there is some Siddhanta. In one of the commentary in Chaitanya Chaitamrita, Srila Swami Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada wrote. That the brahmachari name, addressing oneself with a brahmachari name, relieves us from the pride of becoming a big preacher or a great preacher. Keeping that brahmachari name always remind us of the humility. Even though his name is Swami Bhaktivedant, means Bhaktivedant Swami Maharaj, and title is Srila Prabhupada. But then again in signing, he used to write AC, also remembering his previous name, Abhay Charanarvind. But that's for disciples. For us, we can understand the meaning of AC. And when I go around the world, devotees, they glorify Srila Prabhupada with AC means, in one occasion I was hearing AC means air condition. It's not the matter of joke, but actually how? From the very first verse of Guru Ashtakam, Samsara Dava Navanidaloka. The whole world is getting burned in that forest fire. One who give AC means cooling effect, soothing effect. And one who is always established at the lotus feet of Shri Nityan Prabhu. And the lotus feet of Shri Nityan Prabhu is what? Nitai Pada Kamala Koti Chandra Sushitala. One who gives so much soothing. Nitai Charana Satya Tahar Sevaka Nitya. So many versions of this word. And other is AC means always chanting. Shri Radhika Madhave Ropara Madhuri Leela Guna Rupa Namana. One who is always chanting the names, the form, qualities and pastimes of Shri Radha Madhava. So, in the same way, Shri Vrndavana Thakur, he addressed himself as Narayani Sutaha, owing to the fact that his connection with Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not through his father, but through his mother Narayani. So even signature or even addressing of acharyas have significance. And there is a very subtle thought is present in that. We are always on the gross level, and we give our identification differently. But that's the gross level. But acharyas, they are always, they don't even have a vision of a gross level. They are always situated in subtle level. When Love and Kush, the sons of Bhagwan Ram, when they entered in the palace, where Sri Ram was sitting on his throne, and all ministers and all subjects rishis were present there. And these two young boys, when they were invited, I'm not going to the whole story because not so much time, but they've exhibited so much strength. They defeated Lakshman, they defeated Hanuman, they defeated Bharat, they defeated even Ram. So Sri Ram wanted them to come to the palace. And when they arrived there, Sri Ram asked them, what is your identification? Who is your father? And what Love and Kush replied? For a brahmachari, we are brahmacharis. Oh Maharaj, you're supposed to ask, who is our Gurudev? Not father. And Sri Ram was shocked and understood. They're not ordinary. Just one word gives so much significance. Love and Kush said, you are supposed to ask us, who is your Gurudev? And you're asking, who is our father? That's not appropriate. Sri Ram was pleased to hear this. When Meeraji, she came to Vrindavan and she wanted to meet Sri Rupa Goswami. And she approached to Shijiv Goswami Pad and requested, I wanted to meet the great saint of Vrindavan. I heard a lot of about him, Shri Rupa Goswami. So when Jiv Goswami came to Shri Rupa Goswami Pad and said, one lady, she wanted to see you. Shri Rupa Goswami Pad replied, tell her, I don't see the face of any lady. And when Shri Jiv Goswami Pad replied to Miraji that my Guru Maharaj said, he don't see the face of any lady, and what she replied, just one sentence. She said, I came to Vrindavan and I'm sure and I believe there's only one man, there's only one Purusha, and that is Krishna. Who is this other Purusha? Because we all are ladies. When Shri Jiv Goswami Pad, when he replied this to Rupa Goswami Pad, he said, she's qualified, bring her in. She's qualified. So just one statement or one word is full of gravity, and so much subtleties are there, which attracts the vision of Acharyas. Shri Vrndavana Thakur, he addressed himself by his mother name, Narayani. Why it was so? Because he is the one who was she is the one who was graced by Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when she was only 5 years old. Shri Narayani Devi, the mother of Shri Vrindavana Das Thakur, she had darshan of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One occasion? No, many times. Because Narayani Devi, she is the daughter of Shivas Pandit's brother. That means Narayani Devi is niece of Shivas Pandit. And Mahaprabhu always used to stay where? In the house of Shivas Pandit. Day and night staying there, Sankirtan and so many pastimes. So Narayani Devi had darshan of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Shivas Pandit's brother, she was residing in Shivas Pandit house when Mahaprabhu first began performing Sankirtan. The Sankirtan there behind closed doors. Mahaprabhu used to have Sankirtan doors closed. Upon discovering that some envious atheists can complain to the Muslim government officials with an intention to put him behind bars for wreaking havoc during the nightly Sankirtan performed at his house, Shivas became very anxious. Despite Mahaprabhu's reassuring words that being the supreme controller, he would inspire those are envious perpetrators within their heart not to cause any harm to Shivas. Shivas was not fully convinced. There was a fear in the heart of Shivas Pandit because Muslim king was cruel and he could have taken any action. So Mahaprabhu decided to prove himself by commanding the 5-year-old niece of Shivas, Narayani, to weep in Krishna Prem. And instantly she drowned in the ecstasy overcome by Krishna Prem. Understand? This is how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu want to reassure Shivas Pandit. Shivas Pandit was in fear. Even though Mahaprabhu is coming there in his house and performing Sankirtan day and night. But Shivas Pandit was scared of the Muslim king. And Mahaprabhu wants to reassure Shivas Pandit, nothing's going to happen, don't worry. Because he can sit in the heart of anyone and can change the attitude. Mahaprabhu wants to show this. Mahaprabhu wants to exhibit to Shivas Pandit, to prove to Shivas Pandit, Shivas Pandit was not fully convinced. So Mahaprabhu gave an example, practical example. Sometimes we speak theories, but sometimes they are practical examples. Mahaprabhu showed a practical example. So Mahaprabhu decided to prove himself. How he decided to prove himself? By commanding the 5-year-old niece of Shiva's Pandit, Narayani Devi. Mahaprabhu said, "Oh little girl, weep in Krishna Prem." Saying so, she immediately drowned in that ecstasy, overcome by Krishna Prem. So this is the words Mahaprabhu want to reassure everyone, especially Shiva's Pandit. This is the Mahima, this is the glories of Narayani Devi, whom Shri Vrndavana Thakur addressing his name after her name. I am son of Narayani Devi, Narayani Suta. Understand? Just like Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, how he is addressing or signing his name. Shiva Shabhanuvi Daita Das, the servant of Radharani. That shows in the signature, it shows the absorption of Srila Prabhupada. What is his absorption? Shiva Shabhanuvi Daita Das. And the maid servant of Varshabhanuvi Dait. Similarly, Shri Vrndavana Thakur, he is giving signature Narayani Suta very boldly. I am the son of Narayani, my mother, who, when she was 5 years young, she got blessed by Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in front of everyone, Mahaprabhu told Narayani, weep in Krishna Prem. You understand this word means? That means Mahaprabhu already infused Krishna Prem in her. She can't artificially cry. And she instantly started drowning in that ecstasy of Krishna Prem just by the words of Mahaprabhu. Alas, if it can happen to us, Mahaprabhu just come and say, go and cry in Krishna Prem. Go and roll on the ground in Krishna Prem. May you get Krishna Prem. So, Vrndavana Thakur is her son. That's the glories of Shri Vrndavana Thakur. That's the reason why he mentioned about his mother and not father. Having lost his father when he was just a child, he resided at his maternal grandparents' home along with his mother. In those days, the Brahmanas were accustomed to follow strict rules and regulations. However, Vrndavana Thakur was unconcerned with such considerations. Vrndavana Thakur was not concerned with such strict considerations. The Brahmins even objected to Nityan Prabhu giving mercy to Udaran Dutt, who belongs to the merchant class. In those days, this system of caste, Brahmanism, Shudras, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas were very prominent. Many people objected to Shri Nityanand Prabhu. Why are you giving mercy to Udaran Dutt, who belongs to merchant class, Vaishya, business class? And that was a big issue at the time of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. That he is not Brahmin and is initiating Brahmins. And that's why all the caste Brahmins, everyone turned out against Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada. And in that mode of oppositions from all four directions, Srila Prabhupada preached and established 64 centers. The preaching was accomplished in the midst of those oppositions from every corner, because They're opposing. He's not Brahmin. How dare he can initiate Brahmins? And Srila Prabhupada had all the points, evidences from Shastras to prove. Je bhajo se bado avak vihin char, Krishna bhakti te nahi jati kuladi vichar. From Sanskrit, from Vedas, Puranas, so much. And therefore, a wonderful victory over Vaishnavism, over Brahmanism, when there was one debate, Brahmanism versus Vaishnavism. So anyway, here point is, devotees, they objected Nityam Prabhu giving mercy to Udaran Dutt, who belongs to the merchant class. Yet no one dared to speak anything objectionable before Vrindavan Das Thakur, who by the mercy of Nityam Prabhu fearlessly explained in his writings how in Kali Yuga demons take birth among Brahmin families, to raise objections and present counter arguments. Vrindavan Das Thakur wrote in his great work is Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. And Kaviraj Goswami, he wrote Sri Chaitanya Chaitamrit. How humble, if you read Chaitanya Chaitamrit, you see how humble Sri Kaviraj Goswami is writing in his writing. Embodiment of humility. Trunadapi Sunechena. He's writing there. No one should think that I'm overruling the work of Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur, Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, and to present myself as Sri Chaitanya, the work as Sri Chaitanya Chaitamrit. No. And so many places he's writing, I am taking remnants of Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur. I am taking the dust from the lotus feet of Vrindavan Das Thakur. And with his mercy only, I am writing Chaitanya Chaitamrit. So no Vaishnava should think. Plus, he said, even though Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur explained the pastimes of Mahaprabhu, but some things he left for me as remnants, his remnants left for me to describe. So therefore I am seeking his blessings, his mercy, and touch his feet to describe the remaining pastimes. So Chaitanya Bhagavat, Adi Madhya Anta, and Chaitanya Chaitamrit, Adi Madhya Anta. These six books combined together complete Sri Chaitanya Chaitamrit, Chaitanya Leela. Whereas in Chaitanya Bhagavat, the title of his book is Chaitanya Bhagavat. What is the meaning Chaitanya Bhagavat? That means he is going to describe the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But if you read Chaitanya Bhagavat, after some invocation verses, Mangalacharan verses, where he start describing the pastime of Sri Nityam Prabhu or the glories of Nityam Prabhu, was he got stuck there. He got absorbed there. And instead of describing the pastime of Mahaprabhu, he started glorifying Nityananda Prabhu. So if anyone wants to get familiar with the glories of Sri Nityam Prabhu, the best reference is Chaitanya Bhagavat by Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur. Describing so many glories of Sri Nityam Prabhu, beautiful glories, and how Dayalu is my Nityananda, how Kripalu is my Nityananda. And after describing this, not only 1, 2, 3, I think it's 5 or 7 times altogether in complete Chaitanya Bhagavat, Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur is writing, Eto parihare papi yadi ninda kare tabe lati maru tar shir pare. Even after hearing so much glories of my Nityam Prabhu, even then if someone criticize or have doubt of my Nityananda, then I want to kick that person on his head. This is humility. Anyone who criticized Nityam Prabhu or had doubt of Nityam Prabhu glories, because Nityam Prabhu is acting like Avadhuta. So it's very spontaneously, naturally, one can, start thinking bad about him. Kabuhu lampa, kabuhu jhampa, kabuhu atahasare. So, how Nityam Prabhu is acting? Sometimes he's jumping high, sometimes he's crying, sometimes he's weeping, sometimes he's rolling on the ground. So, Sonar Parvata je bhumi te lotai. Like a golden mountain rolling on the ground. Shri Nityam Prabhu. And then marrying, sometimes become sannyasi, sometimes becoming grasta, sometimes showing renunciation, sometimes he's wearing silken robes, carrying stick in his hand, sometimes he becomes naked. Vrndavana Thakur is writing this. Sometimes he becomes naked, and Mahaprabhu used to come and cover him with kopin, his underwaist. Mahaprabhu is covering. What are you doing, Nityananda? And sometimes he's jumping on the lap of Shimalini Devi, the wife of Shivas Pandit, like a small child, and drinking her milk. So that's why Vrindavana Thakur is alerting and alarming us. Be careful. You're going to read or hearing the pastimes of my Nityananda, who is Avadut and is maddened in that love of Krishna, in Krishna Prem. He's totally mad. And mad person can do anything. Don't expect some etiquettes from a mad person. One who is sober has etiquettes, but mad person, you can't expect any etiquettes. Nityam Prabhu, no etiquettes. Speaking from the transcendental perspective, he broke the dand of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu used to carrying a sannyas danda. Nityam Prabhu broke in 3 parts and throw in the river. Imagine. Who will believe the glories of Nityam Prabhu? Only because of Shri Vrindavana Thakur. One can understand. Only because of the mercy of Shri Vrindavana Thakur. His special mercy, his causeless mercy. We can understand the glories of Shri Nityam Prabhu. And he's explaining to us, don't have any doubt in the glories of Nityananda, because Nityananda and Mahaprabhu, they are same body. There's no difference. And that's the subject matter of the book. Like in Bhagavatam, the first verse is called subject matter. What is the subject? Similarly, he's going to narrate the pastimes of Mahaprabhu along with Shri Nityananda Prabhu, and he did Mangalacharan. And Mangalacharan, what is writing? Ajanulambito bhujo kanakavadato sankirtaneka pitro kamlataksho vishambaro dujavaro yugadharma palo vande jagat priya karo karuna avataro. All plural tense. Ajanulambito bhujo. Both Shri Nityam Prabhu and Mahaprabhu, their arms are long, touching their knees. Kanakavadato. Both have golden form. And etc. etc. Ajanulambita bhujo kanakavadato sankirtane kapitro. Both are the founder of Sankirtan movement. Kamala Taksha. Both have lotus eye. So the essence is, Shri Vrindavana Thakur described the glories of Nityam Prabhu and Mahaprabhu simultaneously in one verse, because they both are same. There is no difference. यद्यपि हमारे गुरु चैतन्य दास तथापि जानियामी तहार प्रकाश. Even though my Gurudev is the manifestation of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but I see, even if I see my Guru as servant of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but I see him as a manifestation of Mahaprabhu. So, Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur, who by the mercy of Shri Nityam Prabhu fearlessly explained in his writings how in Kali Yuga demons take birth amongst the Brahmin families to raise objections and present counter arguments. Vrindavan Das Thakur wrote this. Yeah. It was quite extraordinary to be so bold in those days to write or to speak or to preach like that. Nowadays, no one cares. Even Brahmins are not Brahmins. But in those days, Brahmanism was a big thing. They were following the etiquettes of Brahmin, following all rules and regulations. Yeah. One Brahmin, amongst the community of Brahmins were also different gradations. So high class Brahmin, middle class Brahmin, and third class Brahmin, lower class Brahmin. So higher class Brahmin was was not even supposed to sit with the lower class Brahmin to eat prashadam, because if I eat with someone, I am getting the association of that person. If we eat with someone, that means we are associating with that person. So high class Brahmins were very careful to not even sit with the lower class Brahmins to eat prashadam on the same line or next to them. That much considerations were there. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the philosophy is Jai bhajo sei bado. One who worship more is superior, irrespective of any caste, color, or whatever considerations. Who is saying this? Mahaprabhu. And who is Mahaprabhu? Came in a high class Brahmin family. Yeah. The grandson of Nilambar Chakravarti, high class Brahmin family. He's saying this. So, Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur is so bold, extraordinary to be so bold in those days to oppose, but Vrindavan Das Thakur wrote this openly, straightforward. Beyond contributing through his writing, he fearlessly propagated the unadulterated scriptural doctrines. That's the Vrindavan Das Thakur Chaitanya Bhagavat is his preaching, the best preaching. And many of you who come to Navdeep Parikrama, many of you didn't ever visit Navdeep Dham Parikrama. So, where is the birthplace of Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur? Oh, actually, we muted everyone. How are you going to answer that? So, Vrinda, when we go, the last day of Navdeep Dham Parikrama, the Parikrama goes to Mamagachi, the birthplace of Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur, Mamagachi. And that place is so glorious from Satyuga, from Treta Yuga, from Dwapar and for Kali Yuga also. Even Lord Shri Ram, when he was in exile with Sita Devi, and they came to Mamagachi. In Treta Yuga, Shri Ram also appeared there. Actually, so that's a different story. Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur was so that in Shri Chaitanya Bhagavat, he did not mention his father, even though his defeat the prevalent social custom. Social customs say one is supposed to write his father name. Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur didn't mention about his father at all. He mentioned only those relatives who were practicing devotees. Is this a small and simple activity, or is a matter of great consideration? Just prior to this, I was speaking Hindi class, describing the glories of Shri Srimad Bhakti Vallabha Tirtha Goswami Maharaj. So I am not going to repeat that in English, but I was also mentioning there in that class It's so easy to say, speaking about his personality, he was embodiment of simplicity. He was very simple, but it's just simple to say he's simple. What are the activities and the points, his dealings or his interactions by which it proves that he's simple? So I elaborated on that. Simple, and similarly here, is that simple to ponder upon why Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur didn't mention his father name. He only mentioned those names, only those relatives who were practicing Krishna Bhakti. He only mentioned those names. Just like Bhagavatam says, Guru na sasyad, sajano na sasyad, pita na swa, sajanani na sasyad. That father is not father, that mother is not mother, that guru is not guru, that brother is not brother, that demigod is not demigod. One who can save us from clutches of death, or in other words, one who is stopping us to worship Krishna. Prahlad Maharaj, he addressed his father as, "Oh dear father." No. "Oh loving father." No. How he addressed? Tad sadhu manne asur var dehinam. Wow, what a glory, sir. Is someone addressing his father as asur var dehinam. If your father come home from work and he sit on his couch and sofa and they say, "Hey, you are best amongst those who are in a mode of ignorance." How the father will take this? Prahlad Maharaj addressing Asur var dehina. And Hiranyakashipu feeling proud because it means the best amongst all the demons. So he's understanding in a different way. He's understanding, oh, I'm the best and the king of all the demons. But Prahlad Maharaj is not addressing with that mood. He's addressing, you are the best amongst all demons because you're opposing my Lord. You don't believe the strength in the presence of my Lord. See? You don't believe that. So, Vrindavan Das Thakur, he mentioned only those relatives who were practicing devotees. For instance, while he did not mention his grandfather, he mentioned his grandfather's brother. He didn't mention about his grandfather, but he did mention about the brother of grandfather, owing to his connection with Krishna Bhakti, Hari Bhakti. He considered, why waste time mentioning those in whom Hari Bhakti has not awakened? You see, very significant point and very deep point. He's my mother, he's my father, he's my brother, he's my sister. But Guru na sasyad, swajano na sasyad, pita na swa, swajani na sasyad. How much we follow this? We have not even begun the glories of Vrindavan Das Thakur. This is just introductory. Just on the point of how he's signing his name. And glories of Vrindavan Das Thakur is not restricted just to this. This is just the beginning. But see, the beginning part is full of education, full of lesson. In our daily practices, how we are supposed to give our identity. Only those names. In my family, those were devotees. And what to speak of those families? Glorious are those families where everyone is devotee. Father is devotee, mother is devotee, daughters are devotee, son is devotee. Then can write any name. What is my father name? Shri Ramakant Prabhu. My mother name? Sri Devi Dasi. Your mother name? Isha Devi Dasi. Father name? Yudhishthir Das. So, no objection. Everything is wonderful. Oh, learned girl, who is your mother name? Oh, my mother name is Shri Chandrika Dasi. But when family members are not devoted, then it's difficult. Then how to solve this problem? If my father, my mother, no one is devotee, my brother is not devotee, how can I sign my name? If someone asks you, oh, my Gurudev name is Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. He's my father, he's my mother. Like that. My Gurudev name is Shri Bhakti Vigyan Bharti Goswami Maharaj. He's my father, eternal father. So why wasting time mentioning those in whom Hari Bhakti has not awakened? Where there is no connection with Krishna Bhakti, Vrindavan Das Thakur exhorts, it's a bad association. That's a very bold statement. Anyone who has no connection with Krishna Bhakti, what is my dealing and my business with them? Bad association. Tato dusangam usijya satsu sajeta buddhiman. One who's clever and intelligent, give up bad association. Yeah. Similarly, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami also says, Dusanga kahiya kaitav atma vanchana Krishna Krishna bhakti vinu अन्य कामना. Chaitamrit Madhya Leela 24.99. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying, cheating oneself and cheating others is called kaitav. Associating with those who cheat in this way is called dusanga, bad association. Those who desire things other than Krishna's service are also called bad association. Such a bold statement. Anything besides Krishna and Krishna Bhakti is all bad association. Anything related to Krishna and Krishna Bhakti is all good association. Therefore, tato dusangam usijya sassu sajeta buddhiman santa eva chindanti manovyaksama uktabhi. So therefore, a wise person, he gives up or she gives up that bad association because it's a waste of time. Then further he said, Manushya rachite nare eche granth dhanya Vrindavan Das mukhe vaktashi chaitanya. Kaviraj Goswami, Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is glorifying Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur. Because at the time of Shri Kaviraj Goswami, there were some devotees, some Vaishnavas, so-called Vaishnavas. They criticized him that you're trying to minimize the glory of Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur by writing another book, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So many kind of rumors were there. So many kind of rumors. But in the writings of Shri Kaviraj Goswami, what he's writing? Manushya rachite nare eche granth dhanya Vrindavan Das mukhe vakta Shri Chaitanya. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 8.39. The subject matter of this book is so sublime that it appears that Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has personally spoken through the writings of Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur. Any Manushya Rachite Nare, any ordinary human being cannot describe such wonderful, marvelous Grantha, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Only Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he spoke from the mouth of Shri Chaitanya, Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur, and that's why he composed Shri Chaitanya Bhagavat. The scripture cannot be written by an ordinary human being. These are the words spoken by Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through Vrindavan Das Thakur's mouth. Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur's writings mostly wonderfully depict the prevalent social conditions as well as the future times. That's the speciality of Vrindavan Thakur books, which depicts not only the social conditions as well as the future times. This is especially true of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat. Originally, Vrindavan Thakur's book was named Sri Chaitanya Mangal. Previously, Vrindavan Thakur's book Chaitanya Bhagavat was known by the name Sri Chaitanya Mangal. But upon later discovering that Lochandas Thakur had also named his book Sri Chaitanya Mangal, Lochandas Thakur, associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who's showing so much humility, and we hear so many songs written by Padiya rohilo lochan apana doshe apana doshe थोड़ा के जावे रे भाव सिंधु पार. Sri Lochan Das Thakur wrote so many songs also glorifying Sri Nityananda Prabhu. So he wrote one book called Chaitanya Mangal. And because he wrote that book Chaitanya Mangal, Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur humbly, not with any challenging mood, but humbly renamed his work as Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, because his work was actually quite big in size. While Chaitanya Mangal, very short. So he renamed his book as Chaitanya Bhagavat. Through his writing, Vrindavan Das Thakur expresses that his composition is fruit of Nityam Prabhu's inspiration. Further, asserting how no one can know Bhagavad Tattva unless Shri Nityam Prabhu reveals it. So Vrindavan Thakur always saying, Nityam Prabhu is my Guru. Direct disciple of Shri Nityam Prabhu is Vrindavan Das Thakur. So, through his writing, Vrindavan Das Thakur expresses that his composition is the fruit of Shri Nityam Prabhu's mercy and inspiration. And no one can know the Bhagavad Tattva. No one, unless Shri Nityam Prabhu reveals it to that person. So he used very simple, comprehensible language, not complicating the contents by including any Sanskrit verses from various scriptures. If we read Chaitanya Charitamrita, full of all references from Ujjwal Nirmani, Bhakti Sindhu, Sandarbhas, Vedas, Puranas. And sometimes people, they read Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's just going over my head. I can't understand. It's very difficult. But when I read Chaitanya Bhagavat, it's that simple. No Sanskrit verses, just simple, in a flow, just the pastimes. Some tattvas are also there, but mostly pastimes. But Chaitanya Charitamrita, full of all Siddhanta and Tattva. And also pastimes. But so much Siddhanta and so much Sanskrit verses. But we can't understand the complete glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu unless we read both Chaitanya Bhagavat and Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. So he used very simple language, not complicating the contents by including Sanskrit verses from various scriptures. In order to prevent his work from becoming more voluminous than it already was, he did not elaborate on Sri Chaitanya Dev's later pastimes, means sannyas pastimes. You already saw he wrote Adi, Madhya, Anta Leela. And there is so much glories of Sri Nityam Prabhu and pastimes of Mahaprabhu. Then the volume of Chaitanya Bhagavat will be more big. Therefore, it's not that he can't elaborate or he can't describe. No one should think like this. But he did not elaborate on Chaitanya Dev pastime. Means Chaitanya Dev pastime means later pastime, means sannyas lila. But he predicted in his book itself that Vyasadeva would expand this in future. How he wrote this? Vyas, Aage Vyas Koribe Varnan. Later Vyasadeva will narrate this. So isn't it confusing that we say Vrindavan Das Thakur is Vyas of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat? And Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying later, Aage Vyas Koribe Varnan. Later Vyas will describe the sannyas pastime of Mahaprabhu. Who's he's indicating to? Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So where there is any hostile mood or challenge mood or critic mood? Nothing like that. It's just some people who don't understand the subtle points, they conclude by themselves. Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur is glorifying Kaviraj Goswami and Kaviraj Goswami glorifying Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur. So Mahaprabhu's Sannyas Leela has been narrated by Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in two parts, Madhya and Ante, in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Vrindavan Das Thakur included the narrations of some of their later pastimes in summary form, whereas Kaviraj Goswami greatly elaborated on them. So even though Kaviraj Goswami described the glories of Shri Nityam Prabhu, but if you want to hear the detailed and elaborate version, then Chaitanya Bhagavat by Vrindavan Das Thakur. If someone wants to know the sannyas Leela of Mahaprabhu elaborate, then Chaitanya Charitamrita, and in summarized form, Vrindavan Das Thakur also mentioned. So Vrindavan Das Thakur said, Aage Vyas Koribe Varnan, means Vistarya Varnete Achen Ved Vyas, meaning Vyasadev will do further narration, and Kaviraj Goswami spoke the same words. Satya Kahina Aage Vyas Koribe Varnan. I elaborated on that Vyas has already narrated in Chaitanya Bhagavat. You understand the combination? Vrindavan Das Thakur is addressing Kaviraj Goswami as Vyas, saying that Aage Vyas Koribe Varnan, that in future Vyas they will elaborate on the Sannyas Leela of Mahaprabhu. And in his own book, Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he is saying, what? Chaitanya Leela Vyas, Vrindavan Das. Kaviraj Goswami addressing Vrindavan Das Thakur as Chaitanya Leela Vyas, Vrindavan Das. I do not have such ego that I narrate the pastimes in more detail than my predecessors, but for my own eternal welfare, and to humbly follow the order of Guru, Vaishnavas, and Haridas. Haridas means the Pujari of Radha Govind temple, whom he used to take him as his Shiksha Guru. So humbly following the order of Guru, Vaishnava and Haridas, who ordered me to narrate the pastime. Which pastime? Sannyas pastime of Sri Chaitanya Dev. I am narrating only what Vrindavan Das Thakur left undescribed, as to not to make this scripture unnecessarily voluminous. Both have these considerations. We don't want this book to become very elaborate, very big. So some pastime described by Vrindavan Das Thakur, some pastime described by Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. Therefore, by the study of both Chaitanya Bhagavat and Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita, and by the grace of Vaishnavas, one can get some idea about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glories and pastimes. Some idea, not complete idea. Some idea. In this way. Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur, without his mercy and his uh, great work, Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, the whole world would have been bereft of the glories, the elaborate glories of Sri Nityananda Prabhu and the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which he narrated in summarized form. We all humbly pray at the lotus feet of Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur. Let's all go to with our mind to Mamagachi, beautiful darshan of Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur. Pay obeisances to his divine lotus feet. Do parikrama to him and just pray. May the purport of Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat can come inspire in our heart, and may we attain under your guidance with the dust of your divine lotus feet, your Ishta, Shri Nityam Prabhu and Mahaprabhu's mercy in this very lifetime. Saying so, ending of my Harikatha here. Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. Vancha kalparuvecha kripa sindhuvevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.